Hello everyone, I'm TFC328 here, and I thought this was important to discuss. I recently uploaded my review of the last Bionicle movie, The Legend Reborn. I received a comment from Ace Green Legend pointing out the problems with my review. Some of my criticisms were baseless. The environments, while colorful, are bland tribal backdrops with no personality. Many of my issues are true of both the Miramax trilogy and some of my favorite games. The characters are forgettable archetypes. I mostly dwelled on the positives despite my dislike of the film, and I should have elaborated more on my problems with the movie. Sure, I still stand by my review, and I won't pull a Star Wars Special Edition to change my mistakes or anything like that, as nothing can change the fact that I made them in the first place. But I felt this was worth making a video about because it brings up something that I feel is very important to discuss. Criticism. I'm sure some of you by now have seen the Nostalgia Critic's recent review of Christmas with the Cranks, where he wanted to give no effort to the film by reviewing it in his old style, but finds the traditions of the old style grating and goes back to find the old critic trying to keep to the past instead of evolving. Holy shit, it's Nostalgia Critic Generations! While I have my issues with how this was executed, there's one moment I want to draw attention to. Malcolm and Tamara tell Old Critic to not read the comments as most of them are negative.
Look, you're still pretty new to this, but there's a saying that most of us know.
Yeah, you never read the comments.
Okay, fair enough. There will always be assholes who will mindlessly hate on you just because. In much the same way that there will always be people who will blindly like your video just because. Especially when you're as big as Doug Walker is. However, this indirectly says that he doesn't listen to his fans, especially when they're trying to tell him why something he made didn't work, bunching up the well-thought-out critiques of his works with his mindless haters and childhood bullies. Chances are that wasn't the intention, but let's look at the Hocus Pocus video. The problem a lot of fans, myself included, had wasn't that it was different. After all, the Fury Road review was one of my favorites. The issue with this video was that it was billed as a review, and what we got was an unfunny reenactment that repetitively throws lampshades over the film's dumber moments, as if that makes it automatically funny, doesn't make a whole lot of sense to anyone who hasn't seen the film beforehand, and features the most obvious payoff in the world and one too many Seltzerberg moments. What did Children of the Corn have to do with Hocus fucking Pocus? It seemed like the genuine issues with this video flew right over Doug's head, but let's go back to my Legend Reborn review. Yes, I could have gone into more detail as to why I felt these characters were bland and uninteresting, as well as trying to balance my positive things and silly riffs with some negatives that proved my stance on why I found this film the worst of the bunch. But it emotionally hurt me a little to see that comment, especially since I felt like I had put a little more effort into this review than the others, mostly because I did that beginning recap in the clip art Mac filter to avoid copyright. I did rewatch all my other Bionicle movie reviews after reading the comment and understood where those succeeded and how this didn't hit the mark. Not that the video sucked entirely, but where I can improve from there. I realized that I made some mistakes, and I hope to take that understanding and apply it to my future projects. But it did hurt me a little to see some of my effort gone to waste. Back with Nostalgia Critic, I get that Doug and his crew probably had a ton of fun making the Hocus Pocus video, and the effort from everyone is clearly there. But when something fails, you have to admit it. Sure, you can't please everyone and he's able to do what he wants, but if you put something up for the world to see, expect to see negativity of any kind. And if you can't handle that, you're not cut out for this. Besides, very few Nostalgia Critic videos have over 3,000 dislikes. Not to mention, a lot of the comments are very well constructed as to why the video didn't work. Take from this and learn from it. Don't just gloss over the issues. I feel it most appropriate to end this review with the speech from the aforementioned Christmas with the Cranks review. We all change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, but we all change. But we shouldn't be ashamed of our past, nor should we glorify it. It's like anything, there's positives and negatives. There's good moments and bad moments and good times. Because of this, traditions can be hard to figure out too. Sometimes we obsess over things when we really don't need to. Other times we try something new when we probably should have left good enough alone. But in between one foot in the past and one in the future lies what matters most. The choices we make now are what always has and always will define who we are. So this Christmas, when you're remembering to be kind and understanding of others, remember to be kind and understanding of yourself. And those moments you remember as embarrassing, you may find are not only the most precious moments, but often the most important. And sometimes should be looked at with more appreciation than you think. We're always going to get angry at ourselves. But as long as you always try to learn and get better, you'll often find that it doesn't last that long. And trust me when I say, you're definitely worth that time. I know those words probably sound hollow coming out of my mouth, but I felt they needed to be repeated. I'm TFC328, and don't be afraid to criticize me. It'll only help. I'm playing Aria of Sorrow. It's fucking awesome.